Okay, welcome to the second tutorial in this series. Now, in the first tutorial, we did the basic settings for our animation. So we imported our reference image and we set up our document to be HD size, and of course we save that file. Now, the first thing you want to do before you go any further is to name your layer. So this layer will be our reference. Now once you have that done, you want to convert your drawing to a symbol. Now the reason for this is to turn, so we are able to turn the opacity down on the layer. So you do that by going to right click, convert to symbol, you can call it reference, and click OK. Now once this becomes a symbol, you are able to turn the opacity down. So in the properties panel here, you want to go down to color effect, look for alpha, and you want to turn that down a bit. Alright, so this is really helpful when when you're building, so as not to confuse yourself. Okay, so this tutorial is about building the head shape. So what we're going to do now, we're going to close the reference layer so we can't mess that up. We're going to click here, create a new layer, and let's call this one head shape. Now our main tool will be our black arrow here. It's called the selection tool. Now think of the shape as a piece of Play-Doh, and you're using that shape to take the form of your character, right? So I usually like to start with a shape. I like to use the rectangle tool. Of course, you don't necessarily need an outline, so you can go ahead and turn that off. And I think this color here is fine. So the first thing you want to do is to just draw a rectangle over that general area. Now if you notice, this is really solid, so we can't see through it. So next thing that we'll need to do is also turn the opacity down on this. So we do that by clicking here once, go over to your fill and look out for alpha, and turn that down to about 60% is fine. Now we want to get a bit closer, so we have to zoom in there a bit. Control plus, control minus, we zoom right. Now it's time to shape this rectangle into the shape of the head. So our two main keys now will be Alt. Alt will give you corners, right? So if you notice, when you move your cursor along the line, you'll notice you're able to curve that line. If you want to create corners, you need to hold Alt, click and drag, and the mark it would be Option, right? So that's all you need for this segment. So I'm going to go ahead now and make this into the shape of the head. So it's really useful for you to center this area, center the shape, and work around that. So at some points, it's really easy for you to, it's better for you to zoom in. So I'm holding Alt, clicking and dragging. And if you notice in the corner here, you can see the keys that I'm pressing. So it's also there to help you out. So I'm just making the shape of my character here really quickly. Now this mistake here, that's when we grab the entire shape and move it. It will happen from time to time with using this method, but you can always reposition the fill that you're working with. Just make sure you're grabbing the end of the line. So you want to try to be as accurate as possible when doing this, so as to get the resemblance of your character. I'm just going around it here, which is one of the harder parts to do on this character. Now for characters with complex shape language, it might take you a bit longer to go through this process here. Whoops. So try not to grab the entire fill, otherwise that will happen. And when you're making corners, try to push them to a actual corner on the design itself. So I am almost done here. So remember, to create corners, you hold Alt, that's option and on the Mac. So there we have it. We now have our head shape. In the next tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to extract the hair from this. So see you in the next tutorial.